What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to Turbo Tuesday. It's not
Wednesday.
Even, it's Wednesday. Welcome back to Wacky Wednesday. Woo! We are once again convened under the full light of our glorious sun god to come together in worshipful communion to read George Bataille's The Accursed Share. I'm obviously feeling a little goofy. So I imagine this will be maybe a little bit of a silly session, but gentlemen, how are you guys doing?
Get demonetized again.
Oh yeah, Sean, did I tell you that, dude? The last reading, the last episode got demonetized.
I saw that it got TVMA'd. I didn't know it also got demonetized.
Yeah, dude, they're
Isn't
like,
that the one that it was like flagged for being too extra?
Yeah, and so it got age restricted. And I was like, okay, cool. Which I guess just means it doesn't show up in the home feed or whatever. But it's also like, hey, we can't put ads on this because it's too inappropriate. So I was like, damn. But it was so good. Like that, like every one of these we do, they get better.
It's such a black box.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so. It's such a,
no, I just told
such a black
like,
box because I don't think they tell you anything.
No, they didn't.
Yeah, exactly. I wish they would just tell you what it was. Like what? Like it should just be a little note that says this is what the algorithm got mad about. You know.
I think it. I have my suspicions. I think it's because we said Epstein too many times, and we were talking about like the umbilical cord and eating cannibalism.
Should bleep that
out. Whatever. Fuck you.
Oh, well, there we go. Yeah. It's already happened.
But yeah, yeah, I think that's what it was because we've talked about we've talked about Epstein before that never got demonetized. We've also read Bataille that like for that one to be the first one that got demonetized. I think it was we hit a magic ratio of Epstein and cannibalism.
Hugs, kisses, rainbows.
There it goes. You said those two words.
Yeah.
You gotta say Easteen.
Let me get my... We'll just have to use that a lot.
There you go.
Jeffrey up.
Babe, pig in the
city. Yeah. But yeah, I think that's what did it. And it sucks because when it gets like age restricted and demonetized, it doesn't send it out to people. And that was such a good conversation. Like the reading, but like the other stuff we were talking about along with it was just fucking excellent. Like the cybernetic transgression and like the superego capitalism and all the stuff we were bringing into it, it got dinged, and it's like, damn, dude.
I had a good little conversation in the chat too with hold on, I don't remember his name, with with where is it? Okay, now I can't find it, but I'll shout him out later. What the
shout
fuck?
out
Anyway,
guy.
I had a good conversation with someone. You know who you are. Shout out
Nice.
guy. Where
Shout
do you
out,
go? All right. Well, I'll shout it out later when I find it.
Nice. I do think this section
Nice.
is more chill, so hopefully we can avoid the almighty algorithm. And this one will go off just fine. I don't think there's as much.
It's Jean Lamont. I was looking at the wrong. Oh, sorry.
Jean Lamont Films.
Sorry, I interrupted you rudely. Jean Lamont Films. I was looking at the wrong video. That's why I couldn't find it. Yeah, we were just talking about Nietzsche and shit, and he made a good point. So, shout out Jean Lamont Films.
Nice. So yeah, here's hoping this one goes off without a hitch. We are on page 54, starting at the section from the primacy of religion to the primacy of military effectiveness. And we'll go ahead and jump right into it. The value of warfare in Mexican society cannot mislead us. It was not a military society. Religion remained the obvious key to its workings. If the Aztecs must be situated, they belong among the warrior societies, in which pure, uncalculated violence and the ostentatious forms of combat held sway. The reasoned organization of war and conquest was unknown to them. A truly military society is a venture society, for which war means a development of power and orderly progression of empire. It is a relatively mild society. It makes a custom of the rational principles of enterprise, whose purpose is given in the future, and it excludes the madness of sacrifice. There is nothing more contrary to military organization than the squanderings of wealth represented by hecatombs of slaves. And yet, the extreme importance of warfare had brought about a significant change for the Aztecs in the direction of the rationality of enterprise, which introduces, together with the concern for results and for effective force, a beginning of humanity, as against the cruel violence of consumption. While the king remained in his palace, the court favored the victim, who was given the honors of a god, with one of the most solemn sacrifices of the year. There is no possibility of a mistake here. This was a sacrifice of substitution. A softening of the ritual had occurred, shifting onto others the internal violence that is the moral principle of consumption. To be sure, the movement of violence that animated Aztec society was never turned more within than without, but internal and external violences combined in an economy that put nothing in reserve. The ritual sacrifices of prisoners commanded the sacrifices of warriors. The sacrificed victims represented at least the sumptuary expenditure of the sacrificer. The substituting of a prisoner for the king was an obvious, if inconsequent, abatement of the sacrificial frenzy.
Okay, I kind of did this last time, but maybe it'll get annoying, so I'll shut up at some point. I think part of the issue, though, is if somebody read that, would they have any idea that this is supposed to connect to this thing called the Accursed Share? It just seems like it's just utterly like empirical description.
Yeah.
All right. And yet you're sitting there going, and I again,
Dude,
I think
that is my
there's something cool going on here, which is he's starting to the point is, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, is that religion was this primary way the accursed share was distributed and circulated in Aztec society. But when a society goes beyond the religious into the phase of military expansion, that's a new form that the accursed share can express itself through. And so there's going to be different dynamics at play there. But again, it's like he doesn't connect it to what it needs to be connected to. And maybe he will. I'm just saying, it's like, it reads as just very, like, I don't know, anthropological description.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he
it's
is
funny that you, because like, I was saying it's funny that like you say that, because like I always feel that way when reading Foucault. Like, what is, like, there's so much empirical shit that I'm like, what is the fucking point you're making? But for some reason, the way this reads to me is like I just automatically connect it to the main theme. Like, even I think the first time I read it, it was like I kind of forgot what we were talking about, admittedly, but then it made sense by the end. But yeah.
Would you guys say this is definitely a text somebody needs to read twice if they're going to read it at all?
Yeah. I would. I honestly say don't read this. I would say don't bother reading the Accursed Share. But if you are going to, yeah, it requires multiple readings.
Why do you say don't bother?
Because I think I don't think Bataille is.
Hi, Delilah. Can we see Delilah really quick?
Yeah, let me pick her up. She's being insane right now, dude.
Diva.
And we don't know what her breed is. I think she's half snake, half coyote. I also think she's, instead of being some kind of terrier.
She looks like part Rottweiler, doesn't she?
She looks kind of Rotty, kind of pincher. I mean, she looks like all kinds of different things. Like a shepherd. I think, though, she's a terrorist instead of a terrier. Mm-hmm. She's a terrorist.
Okay, you're demonetized for sure.
Oh, shit, I forgot.
Terrier.
Fuck. We're trying to avoid that.
But I mean, at this point, we might as well just start reciting Brother Lynch lyrics.
Yeah. Yeah, what's that, Sean?
I just got the notification. Oh, I got the notification that my connection is unstable, so I think I have a delay in when I talk versus when you hear. So just FYI. Yeah.
Yeah, it's quite marked. But no, I think okay,
it's not just.
I think Bataille is not clear in anything he writes. I don't think Bataille is clear, and I think you can get more out of Bataille from having it metabolized in secondary literature. I really do. As much as I love Bataille, there's so much of what I do and what I think draws on Bataille and the general perspective, like from the general economy and this like libidinal materialism, the inherent potential of raw matter, bare matter. I think it's all in Bataille. I just also don't think it's clear, and I think you can get more from secondary literature on Bataille rather than just reading Bataille. As much as I love Bataille, I think Bataille is like, he's one of my favorite guys. I also think it is a bit unclear. I think it gets lost. Same thing with erotism and death. I think, well, and Mikey, like we have this kind of ongoing kind of conversation with Todd about like transgression. Is Bataille just doing transgression because he's a weird Catholic guy who's obsessed with transgression? Or is he really trying to articulate something else? I think he's trying to articulate something else, that there's this surplus negativity. And so that's why there is transgression. But Todd is of the position, and most other people are of the position, that Bataille is just really preoccupied with that which is transgressive itself for the sake of being transgressive. So yeah, as influenced by Bataille as I am, I would say, don't read the Accursed Share. I don't know.
I mean, look, so we're about to go into the main chapter, right? Or the main section of this chapter, I think you could argue. But like, before we do, for example, the ritual sacrifices of prisoners commanded the sacrifices of warriors. The sacrifice victims represented at least the sumptuary expenditure of the sacrificer. The substituting of a prisoner for the king was an obvious, if inconsistent, abatement of this sacrificial frenzy. What's the point in relation to the Accursed Share? I just don't know. Like, I find myself constantly going, and what's the point? Like, I don't.
Yeah.
And that's a lack on my part. Maybe he would sit here and go, well, the point is this, blah, 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 dummy. But fine, I'm the dummy. I just don't know what the point is. They do sacrifice in this way, or they make an exception. I want to go, so what's the fucking difference with like, I keep wanting to go, and
yeah,
okay.
Well, isn't the general point just as simple as like that? The reason why they're sacrificing is that they have to burn off the excess.
I mean, yeah,
but is there warriors, prisoners? Like, what's the difference? Like, is it just there is no difference? It's just arbitrary who gets sacrificed?
I think in this case, he's kind of demonstrating how the transitive, like there's this transitive property of like, I must make a sacrifice. I must engage in this type of consumption, but I am transferring my responsibility in this Accursed Share, in this sacrifice. I'm transferring that into the sacrificee. So me as the king, like according to these iron laws of energetics, the king should be sacrificed because it is the most glorious expenditure, but or the priest, the high priest or whatever. And so their religion concocts this transitive property where like you imbue the sacrificee with something essential about you. And so it is still accounting for your responsibility for sacrifice, but you don't actually have to have your heart cut out and all that stuff. And he does that. And then when he talks about potlatch, he's saying there's still these iron laws of sacrifice and expenditure. And this is how different societies, rather than human sacrifice, these people engage in gift giving and one-upmanship and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
That's good, Nance. I think like you have to make something sublime first into a king, for instance, in order for it to be a proper sacrifice.
Now, see, if he had said that,
he doesn't spell that out though, Mikey. So If
he had said that, I'd go, oh yeah, okay, makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And to be honest,
I think he's more because he's a fiction. Well, I think he's the fact that he's a fiction writer and poet. I think he's having fun with the prose, and I think he doesn't want to spell it out. Like that's not how he wants to write. I think is all it comes down to. Yeah. Like he you know what I mean. He wants you to work for it a little bit, and like he wants to have he's a little bit more interested in the aesthetics than in making sure everyone understands, you know?
Yeah.
Or there's a weird thing that, you know, somebody like him who's an incredible writer of literature, they almost, someone like him can go in the opposite direction where he's like, I've got to overcompensate, so I have to be so dry in my empirical descriptions.
Yes.
And I want to be like, yeah, I kind of want some literary finesse.
I mean,
he has moments in here where he does it.
Yeah. I just wrote a note on Substack the other day trying to express a thought. And that motherfucker had semicolons, N dashes, M dashes, regular colons, commas. Like it was like one sentence and it was like fucking 10 lines. Cause I was like just trying to express an idea and trying to be clear and concise. And my trying to be clear and concise turned it into this weird, fucked up, extra conjugated, weird thing. Like I think it is a consequence of being more prone to verbiosity and flowery language, and like I would rather play with words than I would actually like work with them. And so a consequence of that is when I am trying to be clear and concise, I write a technical manual just to say one clear fucking thought instead of doing it the other way around. So I think that insight is a good one. Like he writes stories and poetry, and he hangs out with painters and smokes cigarettes and drinks absinthe. Like he's an artsy guy. So
yeah.
However, I was today sitting down thinking about communication and efficiency and optimization. I've been chastised and castigated in the past for being so verbose and for rambling on and on and on and just failing to get to the fucking point. People have, just someone left a comment like, hey, Nance, please stop rambling in between excellent conversation. Like that was a comment on my video. And it's like, hey,
if only there was this feature that allowed you to skip the intro.
Yeah.
If you really wanted to go to,
you could fast
maybe
forward,
somebody should
dude.
make it where that's possible.
But like, first of all, I know, dude, I've been living with myself for 40 years. I know, like, it's not like I lack awareness, but also like there's like communication is necessarily wasteful. There's always a remainder. There's always a surplus of meaning and intention that never gets integrated and never gets actually conveyed. That's the way communication works. That's the way identity works. Like we are singularities in this sense. We are infinite. We cannot be fully communicated to the other. So communication is necessarily wasteful. People who are sensitive to that, people who buy the ideology of optimization and efficiency, people who want to turn everything into hustle grind set culture where it's like, you need to be the best version.
Get to the point.
Like be more efficient, be more this, be more that. Like you've onboarded the ideology of the machine. That type of communication is cybernetic communication, where in cybernetics, communication is just control at a distance. So you enter a certain input to elicit a desired response. So it's like typing in ABC on the computer because you expect and desire X, Y, and Z to happen. Whereas with actual communication, human communication, it's always wasteful. It's always excessive. It's always wishy-washy. And that's what we are. And that's what we do. We need to celebrate this excessive nature, the wasteful nature of human communication.
Yeah, but you know how many I'm sorry, a lot of times it comes from younger people who they know what they know. What they don't know is spending your weekends on a back porch with a group of friends, drinking, smoking cigarettes, shooting the shit for hours on end. And the vast majority of the actual content of those conversations was bullshit. But that's precisely what was binding about it.
Yeah.
And it was this excessive wasting. Like, it sounds strange, but it's our way of accursed share.
Yes.
It's an expenditure of excess.
Yeah.
And it seems to not have any immediate utility to it. And that's the point.
That's the point.
Wasting, sacrificing. People can go, well, you're not sacrificing like the Aztecs. No shit. But we're sacrificing our time. Like,
yeah.
I could be doing other stuff, but instead I chose to be here with this group of friends doing nothing. But the doing nothing truly does something, which is forges symbolic bonds, because you're wasting your time and your energy and your attention on the other. And when waste here is good, it's a positive thing.
Yes.
You could be doing something else. You've chosen it. It's a selection.
Yep.
And the very fact that you choose to waste the most important things that you have in life, your time, your energy, your attention, also your money.
Yep.
Like, this is what you choose to do. It's a gift.
Yeah.
Because you're saying, in this whole big scheme of things, there's nothing I'd rather be doing than sitting on this porch shooting the shit with you guys.
Yep.
And so that's what we were raised in.
Yeah.
That's what we know. A lot of younger people who know this optimized social media landscape, that's their default setting. Sadly, they don't have that as their background.
And it's like, it's inhuman. It's anti-human. Like it is this logic of the machine. It's this optimize, become more efficient, be more effective. Like this type of waste is the last bastion of humanness. Like, that's the last refuge, the last best hope for humanity is the ability to be wasteful and push back on efficiency and optimization and say, no, I'm going to take the long way around. I'm going to take the scenic route. I just saw a video.
Tom Waits, you and me, baby, we can take the long way home.
Yeah, dude. I just saw a video.
Take the long way home. Why?
Yeah.
It's wasteful. But there's something to the waste. There's meaning in the waste.
Symbolic exchange. I just saw a video and I started watching it. By the way, Sean, I also started watching that Mueller video. I haven't finished it, but I started watching that. But I started watching another video.
Good shit.
Of an interview. I can't remember the guy's name, but he's some AI guy. And he claims that we have less than 800 days left before AI takes over and before we're totally fucked. He's like, we have less than 800 days left.
I say we have less than 567 days before the rapture.
Yeah, it's totally. What is this guy's name? Emad Mostak. But I will be making a response to this video because it's fascinating. But like this idea of quantifying all your time. Of course, we have limited time on Earth. That's like, yes, we are humans. We are living creatures. We all know we're going to die. And we all would like to live as authentically and genuinely as we can, move forward unto death. But also, like,
epic fail.
It was excessive to have to do that multiple times. But yeah, like we are authentically moving forward into our own death, and we are aware of that. But it's also foolish to only care about efficiency and effectiveness and optimization. Like, at that point, you have allowed yourself to become a jackhammer. You're a pneumatic hammer, and you're just pounding away at whatever task your boss sets you to. And the point is, be a rubber mallet. Be soft and squishy, and be less effective than the hardened steel pneumatic hammer. Because that's all we can do. Like, we have no choice. We do have to work. We do have to live under the laws of capitalism. We do have to contort ourselves into these fucked up shapes. So when we have freedom, when we find wiggle room, you should allow yourself to be excessive and engage in symbolic exchange, because that's all we have. And that's, I mean, yeah, go ahead.
Speaking of Hans, Georg Muller, that is, that video is super fascinating. I highly recommend following Carefree Wandering in his work. The hang up I always have with him is that where he ends up, like, along the way, it's beautiful. It's immaculate. It's so fascinating. And then at the end, he always goes like this stoic Taoist thing where it's like, yeah, but it's all right. Who cares? It's like, who's to say what's better or worse? Subjectivity is literally evaporating before our eyes into the ether. It's never coming back, and that's fine. Don't worry. And as much as that's helpful to counteract the sort of like hysteria, or paranoia is a much better word, around like AI and that sort of thing, as much as that's kind of nice contrasted to that, it's also like, yeah, I think both of those approaches are fucked. You know, like, we don't have to be there's a certain like Zen Buddhist fucking nihilism that you can get to, which is very similar to like Stoic nihilism, where you're just like genuinely don't care about anything, you know? So that's kind of my rub with Muller, where I always rub up against, even though I draw on so much from his work and I get so much out of what he's doing. But that's always the rub I have with him. I'm like, is it really just value neutral? Subjectivity can exist or not. Either way, fine. I don't have a preference. Really? Really? No preference. Like, there's not a better or worse world you want to live in, you know?
I wonder if that's just performative, or if he genuinely is kind of like, yeah, c'est la vie.
Well, his philosophical position is like that there is no, like, he has a book against morality, like, at all. And he paints with broad brushes about what that means. Like, ethics, morality, all of it's the same. All of it is trash can of history. All of it should go away. All of it is bad. It's all bad.
Is there a sense he's a Landian because he followed the Tao of capital?
I mean, that's a connection. That's kind of what I think about land sometimes too, where it's like you had that video where you said like, land, can't you see I'm burning? It's like, no, there is a difference. Like, you know, like, it is bad if subjectivity disappears. So there's kind of a connection there.
Should we do sacrifice or consumption?
Sacrifice or consumption. This softening of the sacrificial process finally discloses a movement to which the rites of immolation were a response. This movement appears to us in its logical necessity alone, and we cannot know if the sequence of acts conforms to it in detail, but in any case, its coherence is evident. Sacrifice restores to the sacred world that which servile use has degraded or rendered profane. Servile use has made a thing, an object, of that which, in a deep sense, is of the same nature as the subject, is in a relation of intimate participation with the subject. It is not necessary that the sacrifice actually destroy the animal or plant of which man had to make a thing for his use. They must at least be destroyed as things, that is, insofar as they have become things. Destruction is the best means of negating a utilitarian relation between man and the animal or plant. But it rarely goes to the point of holocaust. It is enough that the consumption of the offerings, or the communion, has a meaning that is not reducible to the shared ingestion of food. The victim of the sacrifice cannot be consumed in the same way as a motor uses fuel. What the ritual has the virtue of rediscovering is the intimate participation of the sacrificer and the victim, to which a servile use had put an end. The slave bound to labor and having become the property of another is a thing, just as a work animal is a thing. The individual who employs the labor of his prisoner severs the tie that links him to his fellow man. He is not far from the moment when he will sell him. But the owner has not simply made a thing, a commodity of this property. No one can make a thing of the second self that the slave is without at the same time estranging himself from his own intimate being, without giving himself the limits of a thing.
Okay, there's lots to...
Yeah.
There's lots here. Like, it picked up quickly.
Yep.
Obviously, so, I mean, I understand this logic of the reason you sacrifice something is to actually free it from its degraded, utilized form. It's almost like you're letting the sublime spark from whence it came, so to speak. And I mean, that makes sense in a certain type of way. This idea, I mean, labor does this. I mean, labor itself, not just wage labor, necessary labor, forces us to instrumentalize ourselves. And so there's a sense in which you leave the world of work. It's a great privilege. It's a freedom. So, you know, and I mean, look, of course there's the objectification thing here.
Yep.
It kind of also, in a certain ways, smacks of the master-slave dialectic. You know, this struggle: who's going to be the subject, who's going to be the object. You know, and so lots of good stuff here.
I like the making of the thing. That's the world of totalizing utility. That's the world where optimization and efficiency is the only thing that matters, because it's all about utility. But there's also this element of thingifying something, objectifying something, that it's like it becomes das Ding in this kind of sublime fashion. Like, before you sacrifice the person, you have to sublimate them.
It takes a thing and makes them the thing.
The thing. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, look, again, I mean, whether it's instrumentalization, utility, this is so common with us. It is the repression of subjectivity.
Yep.
Don't be a subject, be a fucking object. Be a mechanized source of utility, use, etc. And to the best of your ability, be identical to that. You're not identical to that. You never can be. You can feel a huge pressure to simulate, to pretend that you are that, but that crack will always remain. And so there's labor inside of labor. There's the actual labor you have to do, but there's this labor on top of it, of the labor of pretending to be reducible to the object, the laboring object.
Yep.
And that is what surveillance does.
Yep.
Surveillance is always there watching to make sure you don't drift too far away from your symbolic, interpolated duty or activity. And surveillance always makes sure, like, no, like, stay locked in. And that's why surveillance is structurally there to incentivize Sartrean bad faith.
Yeah. Well, and there's this gap, that crack, that, open air in between you and your identity or your function or your role, worker. In a society where you can be free, where you're emancipated, you're able to lean into that open space, that negativity. You're able to be there, explore it, stay there, play around with it, discover new things. In the world of totalizing utility, you have to deny it and you have to work against it. You have to push against it and try to close the gap. That has previously been managed with discipline and force. And surveillance played its role in that. You had to, they're breaking the rules, and then the panopticon and this and that and blah, blah, blah. But now in the world we live in today, it's not being managed by discipline, by force as much as it is by control. And socially, we're told to enjoy closing the gap. And this goes back to the optimize yourself, become the best version of yourself, be the best you that you can be. Read this self-help book, 10 simple steps to help you be more effective at X, Y, and Z. Be a better communicator.
Be the real you.
Yeah. Be the best version of yourself. Like we're being told to close this gap just as we always have been. Whereas in the past, that was enforced with force. We were punished, disciplined. It was juridical. And now we're moving over to this super egoic world where it's all social control. And we're like, you can do it. Be a more effective type coder or whatever the fuck your job is. Like, you can be the best version of this and that. And it's crazy. It's a way to disavow, first of all, the gap itself, to disavow the fact that you're not identical. But it's also a way to disavow like the element of control itself, because we're being told to enjoy it. Read this self-help book and you'll be so good. And won't it be good to be good? And we'll all be great. But there's this like, no, we need to be useless. We need to be like, I want to be like, if we're a world full of hammers, I want to be a shitty fucking rubber hammer with a thin wood handle that breaks every time you try to hit something with it. Like, I want to be useless. We're not allowed to be useless. We can't escape utility. It sucks. It's a rather bleak view to think that sacrifice is the only way to escape utility. I like to think that we can develop a world where
I think passion is the other one.
That's it. I think
the other
passion
option
is a better escape from utility than sacrifice.
Wait, but it is sacrifice. Passion is sacrifice, isn't it?
Yeah,
though?
but it's not. But it's not in the
sacrificing
Aztec sense.
No, of course. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. But it is. It is in the sense that you're still spending your life doing something, as opposed to doing many, many other things that you could have done. There's still a sense of loss.
Yeah. When you choose a given path, you are negating all the other possible paths. So when you are engaged in a thing, you're closing down all the other options, all possible worlds, blah, 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 whatever. But it gets tricky when talking about Bataille. Yeah. We're talking about sacrifice. We're talking about expenditure. We're talking about waste. Like, these words become slippery and a little bit difficult, because like the useful objects, like commodities, are useful objects. My phone is a commodity, and there is use here. I could communicate with it. I do communicate with it. It does very many useful things, but it is also pure fucking waste. Like, this is like, it's just pure fucking waste. And the life that appears wasteful of us sitting on the back patio reading books and looking at paintings and watching films and discussing films, like all these things that look wasteful from a general perspective or whatever, that's actually where the most use can be found for becoming a human. So yes, it is a sacrifice, but it's a qualitatively different type of sacrifice than immolating, than cutting out your heart or burning you to death or whatever. And this is why Bataille's tricky, because words like waste and sacrifice and expenditure, like they become weird.
Yeah. You can't be analytic about it. You kind of got to go with the flow. But like, I wanted to like to connect surveillance and like appearing wasteful. Like, it's crazy to me that we have this mentality of don't waste time. It's not really a mentality of don't waste time, because it's perfectly socially acceptable to sit in your house and watch TV for 10 hours or sit on your phone and scroll for 10 hours. It is entirely unacceptable to bother your neighbor for 5 minutes to have a conversation, about anything. It's unacceptable. It is so unacceptable to sit on your stoop and chat. Like, that seems like people look at that like you're just wasting time. Like, losers do that or some shit. You're not maxing right now. If you're sitting on the back porch with some fucking and chilling, you're not maxing right now. So it's like, but it's perfectly fine if we waste our lives away behind closed doors. That's fine. That's because no one is watching you. So you don't have this gaze of the other, the surveillance looking at you when you're doing that. So you don't feel guilty that you're wasting time.
Yeah.
That is acceptable. There's no big other watching you do that. At least there is, but not one that you think matters, because your phone is watching everything you do, but it's not really the big other in the same way. Yeah.
Well, it's easier to disavow that type of surveillance than other,
because it is the
types.
big other. But yeah.
So the title of this episode is going to be BatailleMaxxing, because that's what we're doing. We are book maxing. We're not reading and talking and discussing and actually trying to articulate ideas and also have fun while doing it. No, we're not doing any of that. We're theory maxing. Losers, fucking losers. You guys all like, but it's true. Everything has to be max. You have to max. You can't, but you can't just hang out. You can't
but
chill
again, max is just another variation of enjoy.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, YOLO.
It really has the connotation of self-optimization, though.
Yeah.
But this type of isn't it a little different, because it is enjoy, but it's like self-optimization. So it's like enjoy your own self-image of yourself. Like, that's what you're supposed to enjoy. Like, looks maxing is where it comes from, right?
Yeah, but this is how capitalism with the Protestant work ethic connect to superego. It means excessively work at, refining yourself. But of course, it's always in a commodified way.
Yep.
It's not, find something that you find existentially or spiritually fulfilling. No, that's not what that's about. It means be the best at your profession.
The difference. Yeah. Yeah, the difference is that the Protestant work, and I agree, like there is something Protestant, like cyber Protestant about this shit for sure. But the difference, I think, is just that it was about actually working when the Protestant work ethic was like the thing, and now it's about not even actually working. It's all about appearance, like 100% about how you look, how you appear. Do you appear that you're working? It's 100% about appearance,
and that's why it's super ego, because
networking. Yeah. Hyphenate that.
Yeah. But that's what makes it super egoic, because it's this kind of second order thing. A few months ago, I did an episode about Michael Bay's film The Island. And it's a good movie. Mikey, we were talking about Michael Bay and how I hate most Michael Bay movies, but I love The Island. It's a great movie.
And The Rock.
Yeah. Two of my favorite movies are done by this fucking director that I hate. I think he makes horrible films, but these two are good. But in the island, there's so much fucking Baudrillard, and there's so much of this kind of super egoic stuff going on. And there's a moment where Jude Law, is it Jude Law? Yeah, it's Jude Law. No, it's Ewan McGregor.
Ewan McGregor. I was like, wait, is Jude Law in there?
Yeah, it's Ewan McGregor he's spoiler alert, people. He's a clone living in a clone factory. He's denied bacon because his toilet automatically screened his urine for nutrient levels and stuff, and it saw that he had too much sodium. So the automated connected surveillance computer food delivery system decides he can't have any bacon. So he goes to get his little breakfast in this utopian, brave new world, and they're like, you don't get any bacon. So he was denied bacon, but it was still permissive. Like, it wasn't actually prohibitive. It was still the superego coming in and saying, no, you cannot have this bacon, rather than the big other saying,
because we want you to be your best self.
That's the thing. Like, with the big other, or with past forms of prohibition, there are external limits. There are real material limits, and prohibition is prohibition. Mm-hmm. Or the same thing with the TV shows, where because I love competition shows, when the person loses the contest, rather than saying you lose because you lost and you didn't perform well, they bring the person up and they say, oh, you didn't win this time, but thanks for coming on. You did such a great job representing all the other people in the world who share your race and ethnicity and sexual orientation. You're such a good representative. You're so unique, and I can't wait to see what you do for yourself in the future. Like, it's always affirmation. There's
You want him to just go, I'm a loser, I fucking lost.
Yeah. There's no prohibition. There's no lack. Everything is still a positivistic, affirmative world. And even when you lose, you still win. In this movie, The Island, like, he's denied bacon, but it's not real denial, because the limit is his current self versus his future self. And so there's this propositional future version of himself that is better and is healthy, and that version of him is enjoying the bacon. So even though you can't have the bacon right now, you're still getting it as long as you can optimize and become the best version of yourself. So it's still saying enjoy the lack of bacon. Like,
and I'm sorry, like, here's the thing, right? The thing with the passion, you don't do your passion because you're trying to be like, I'm sorry, I've been doing philosophy. It's my passion. I've been doing it for over 20 years, and I don't do it to try to achieve some idealized
to philosophy, Max.
No, I don't. That's not it. And people can say, well, do you feel like you get better at it? Yeah, but that's a Hannibal Lecter. That's incidental.
Yeah.
That's not the point. And I don't know. I feel like one way to break the interpolation of the superego is to truly be able, like, to actually embody this and assimilate this. The words of Bob Dylan, I got nothing, ma, to live up to, right? I don't have some optimized future self to live up to.
Yeah.
Right? That doesn't mean that you don't have Heideggerian projection into the future, but the superego does. It puts the interpolation of enjoy in this current context, this self-maxing, is that. And the point is, it's an impossible task, because no matter how fucking hard you try, you're never going to be this perfect maxed version of yourself. It's not going to happen. And it's bullshit. It's ideological bullshit.
And it's dangerous.
It's pure. It's just fantasy. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's just fantasy. And it's like, you have to just like acknowledge your fantasy for what it is. Right. And it's like, when it comes to the difference between the big other and the superego, I feel like the big other is like you have to subordinate yourself to me, is what the big other is saying. Subordinate, and then the superego is like, no, it's for your own good.
Yes.
Isn't that the difference? It's for you. This is to.
But
this
that's
is
how it
because
has all the more power
because the
over
big
it.
other is subordinate. Exactly. It's because the big other, it says I am subordinate to you, or the superego, I mean, says I am subordinate to you. The big other says you are subordinate to me.
Yes.
But they're both positions of authority. One is just sort of pretending that it's all about you.
And that's what's so dangerous and insidious.
And so it is. Yeah. Yeah. And so, but it's so creepy. It's so much more creepy than the big other. Insidious is a great word for it too.
Well, then you have but I think.
Go
ahead, Sean.
No, the delay is just.
No, go ahead. I'm just lagging. Yeah.
There are.
No, go ahead.
There are like legions of young people who are internalizing this logic of the superego, and they're taking it at face value, and they're genuinely investing, and they're genuinely believing that there is a pathway to perfection. There is a pathway to become identical with their role in society. And because it's socially unacceptable to talk about how that's impossible, because we are expected to keep playing along and keep pretending and playing along with this ideology. And when you raise problems, people say, oh, you're just a curmudgeon. Oh, you're just a grouch. Oh, you're just a negative Nancy. Oh, don't do that here. Kind of like what we were talking about in our last episode, Mikey, where people don't want to hear difficult truths. And so they invert it and flip the script. But now there are young people out there who, when they realize they can't become the best version of themselves, now they're dealing with a crisis, very dangerous. And you see people doing more extreme, more desperate things because there is no future, there is no world, and they must be completely wrong and broken because they couldn't do it. They couldn't live up to themselves, even though the system was designed to allow them to become the best version of themselves. All our schools and all our programs and all our media is always about affirmation and positivity and building you up. So when you come up against failure, you have no choice but to think you're wrong. And so you have desperate people. And it's very dangerous. It's very sad. It's very fucking dangerous.
Well, what nobody wants to talk about is that, and I'm going to use two different senses of the word, feeling special to a close-knit group of friends or family. That's a good thing. To feel, I'm special to them, right? If you put it on a young person that they're special to the world, that's an enormous burden to live up to. And you got nothing more to live up to, right? And the point is, this whole radical affirmation, oh, you're special to the world. Actually, it's a terrible thing for most people to feel. No, it's good to be special to your friends and your family. If you're special to the world, you have to constantly feel like you have to please everyone. It gets into public relations and, I have a PR analyst and blah, blah, blah. And you see what people go through on social media who are celebrities. It's a terrible fucking thing. And being special to the world, I mean, is it good? I mean, look, there's people we can name who are special to us now, like in Beethoven and Kant and Prince and all that, right? But first off, with Beethoven and Kant, I don't know how much their lives were affected by their specialness.
Right.
They
were
Prince
bourgeoisie.
Obviously, is an example of somebody who was, but
yeah.
It makes you have to challenge. Is it good for somebody to put this pressure on a person you're supposed to be special to the world? fuck off.
Yeah.
And I think Beethoven didn't give a fuck. Like, I really don't think Beethoven was concerned about his own specialness. Like, it was like about the music. It was about the passion. That's all it was about. It was about like, no, I'm living for this thing that I love. I'm not living for my own self-maxing. Like, this would not have been an idea that was around to enter his head. This is like so fucking postmodern.
Now, Prince might have done a little
like yesterday
self-maxing, maybe.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, maybe.
I'd say that out of love for Prince.
Yeah.
But no, that's true, dude. So we talk about this like Cthulhuid madness that the internet's driving us all fucking mad. I think that's a huge part of it, is that young people, and all people, not just young people, all people for the most part, are now feeling this pressure. This
boomers are
duty.
So internet brained.
Yeah, they are, dude. But it's like there's a pressure, there's a duty, there's a responsibility to the entire fucking world because you're so special and everyone cares about you, and that it drives people mad. No, like who gives a fuck?
Have I told you guys? So in the part I'm rewriting or not rewriting or adding whatever on superego, I said, look, the multiverse concept, whether it's in Marvel or everything everywhere all at once, the multiverse is a superegoic fantasy, because when it comes to like self-maxing, what it is every possibility I have as a subject is actualized in the multiverse.
Yep.
It's pure superego. And the problem is, that if you choose one path down here, you're going to have to kill all these virtual versions of yourself. You can't actualize all of them. But in truth, the real superegoic injunction to enjoy, put in this self-maxing context, is actualize every one of your virtual potentials.
Yep.
That's a truly sadistic, impossible injunction. But that's why I think we have this fixation on the multiverse. Even if people are tired of it in Marvel, it fucked up Marvel, blah, 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 blah. It's a recurring thing. I don't know if in ancient times, or do you ever see anything remotely like a multiverse concept where all the different versions of myself have actually found? No, it's in the age of superego.
Yeah.
That this concept emerges.
I like that a lot.
Yeah, and I think it's also, I think it came out of I'm not an expert on fucking physics, don't get me wrong, but like I feel like it kind of came out of a way for physics to solve a problem. And that problem, it's probably just creating more problems than it's fixing. Like, I don't think it's really fixing anything. It's just like a neat solution. Like, this is where it originated from. Why it's popular in the culture, that might be exactly why, what you're saying, Mikey. But like, I hate it so much. I never thought I would hate a sci-fi trope more than time travel, but it is so fucking overused. I can't stand it anymore. Like, anything with fucking multiverse in it, this just gave me yet another reason to dislike it. I'm so fucking over the goddamn multiverse trope. It's so annoying.
I want to write a multiverse story now that isn't just pure trash ideology. Because I think that is
as a critique of superego.
Yeah, I think that is 100% it. And it's Wheeler, the many worlds theorem. Like, it's not even a serious thing. Like, there are some physicists, people who go in for the many worlds theorem, but I think by and large it's not serious. Like, it's seen as like kook stuff. And it was taken from like LSD. Oh man, wouldn't it be cool? Like, people just sitting around growing mustaches, listening to the Beatles. And then they turned it into fucking ideology, to superegoic fucking you don't ever have to sacrifice. You don't ever have to give up on any of these possibilities, because somewhere out there, imagine all the people. And I actually like that song Imagine by the Beatles, but
I think I was just thinking about how I didn't like that song today. But before we go on to fucking John Lennon, I want to I feel like, so I think that there is some serious physics behind the multiverse thing. I don't know 100%, but I'm pretty sure that there's something there to it. It's just that it's like there are much more. It's a way, like it's a way to have your cake and eat it too.
Yeah,
I think. So it's like a patch. It's totally like a patch, and it's like it's a way to avoid having to think that like the universe is eternal, or that the universe came from nothing, or that something that's like really just hard for us to wrap our head around. It's literally easier to think about the multiverse, and it to me it just seems like a way to deny like that it's inexplicable and impossible, like to understand where we came from, and it's like it's just like a band-aid. It seems like
it fully is.
But
I think the superego bombards us with this injunction to actualize as many of our potentials as we can. It guilts us when we fail to do so. It creates a fear of missing out, FOMO.
Yep.
And the multiverse fantasy is there to offer solace.
Yep.
Lose yourself like in this, what if I could have all these virtual selves actualized? And it's bullshit.
Because absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And I think so here's what I was trying to say is like, I think that one of the alternatives to the multiverse is that this universe that we're in right now is eternal. Like, and that time doesn't work in the way we experience it, that the past, present, and future all exist and forever, like they just exist. That's just what it is. And that is really hard to onboard if you don't love your life, because that means that you only had one chance.
Yeah, but this is Nietzsche, right?
What it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is Nietzschean, but it's also Sir Roger Penrose. It's also, there's also some physics that would say, versions of physics that would say, yeah, this is what it is.
Yeah, I look when it comes to.
So, like, my point is that there's different models, and we chose one for ideological reasons, like Mikey is saying. There are others that are way out of step with our ideology. That would make a lot of sense to people living in a different world from ours, but not the world we live in.
Yeah.
Can I just look? Self-maxing is our form of accursed share.
Yeah.
And it does entail sacrifice, because what we're sacrificing are meaningful symbolic relations based on waste and lack, because we're so caught up with this superegoic toxic positivity. And that's where the excess energy is being channeled for so many people.
Yep. But it's disavowed.
And it's ideological.
Yep.
Because the more you focus on yourself, the less you're going to focus on the structure of the system.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I just wanted to bring it back to Bataille, like with that, because I think this has to do with the person.
It absolutely does. And it's a way to disavow sacrifice and to have your cake and eat it too. And pretend, oh no, you never have to sacrifice. You can be the best version of yourself. All you have to do is self-max, blah, blah, blah. It's absolutely a way to ideologically deal with.
The superego is eat the cake, but also have six-pack abs.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
And don't diet and don't go to the gym, but eat whatever you want.
Well, that's
and
why
be
Ozempic,
beautiful and have a perfect body.
That's why Ozempic is getting popular now. Ozempic has been around since the 1980s, and not Ozempic because that's the brand name of a particular GLP-1 inhibitor, whatever. But like this class of drug has been around since the 1980s. It didn't get popular until recently. And it's popular because of ideology for no other reason, because we used to have, people used to take meth and like fen and other ephedrins and go on weird diets and do all this stuff. But
living
it was
at the gym is sacrifice.
Yeah. Like we've gone so far into this weird fucked up super ego world that people don't even want to go to the gym to have the gym body. People are like, I want to take the magic pill and still be able to, like, it's so like we're layers deep in this super ego.
And that is why when they can transfer our brains, if that's the last remnant of biological makeup, take the brain and put it in a perfect cyborg body. And if the ideal human experience would be like, I still get to eat food, I still get to drink, because those are sites of my jouissance. I want that, but I want to have a perfect body. So this is like super egoic logic at its purest to me.
I mean, I say sign me up, put me in a robot body. I don't even want to eat. I don't give a shit about food. I want to skateboard.
Would we want to sleep if we can go, oh, well, we can just stay awake? Because superego would say sleep is wasteful.
Yeah. I would say you could be doing so many other
24/7.
You could do way more productive self-maxing shit if you never have to sleep again.
Give your brain a serum, whatever, drops, of whatever to.
Yeah. You only need to go into standby mode for 45 minutes or some shit. Like optimize. That's the thing. That's why taking the long way around. I mean, it would be sick, but taking the long way around is important. The process itself is the point. So like being verbose and rambling on is like, it's fucking important. And other people have other ways to try to cling to their humanity. But for me, that's one way that I try to fucking cling to my humanity.
My thing is, I would love to. The problem is
for like
waking
1
up.
hour. That'd be,
yeah, dude.
Yeah, I would love that though. But like the thing is, I don't want that world given to me by capital, because then it'll be you have to sleep 1 hour because you're working 23 other hours.
Yeah, but they'll have that shit automated.
That's the world.
Well, it'll be.
Yeah, well, I mean, you hope, but if you like, but
I don't know. I don't see how they.
Well, then what are you doing?
Brain transfer to a cyborg body before automated economy, but maybe
it'll be cheaper. It'll be cheaper to transfer.
Oh no, us. I'm just saying if they had a magic drug that made it so you in your. I'm saying in your current body, like you just have a drug that makes it so you only sleep.
Yeah, that would be mandatory.
Oh yeah. Well, Jesus Christ. I mean, that's why meth. Yeah. That's why meth blew up. What was it called? Like, Pervitin, I think, was the original meth formulation. And the Japanese and the Nazis and the US and the British, I think, they all were experimenting with these amphetamines and these chemical compounds to make it so initially soldiers could operate on less sleep. It was a wartime thing for people that were deployed, but eventually, like, that was the idea, the fantasy. Let's just give everybody meth. People don't need to sleep if everyone's on meth. Then they can work. Like, that is what capital wants. Capital wants us all to be on meth all the time.
Yeah.
And I want to be on it only sometimes.
Yeah, meth made the blitzkrieg possible.
Yeah. But on the mini worlds thing,
truck drivers and construction workers still fucking.
Oh yeah, Nodos, the little stingers, the little yellow jackets. Fuck yeah. But on the mini worlds theorem, it is having cake and eating it too. And then there is this block universe. I think like the mini worlds theorem, it's a failure rather than like a discovery or even a proper like theory, mini worlds interpretation, whatever. Like it is a way to not have to reckon with the fact that there are things that are unexplainable according to the standard model of physics. Like mini worlds emerges when physics starts to break down and people start to see quantum effects. And it's there's different interpretations. There's mini worlds. There's the block universe. There's Bell's theorem. Like, and all these things are different ways of trying to understand, or they're different ways of trying to cope with the fact that we just don't understand. Like quantum physics, our understanding breaks down at a certain level. And so people come up with these ideas and these suppositions, and it is a Band-Aid. It's a way to put a patch on it and say, well, we don't understand it because it doesn't make sense. So we'll make up this wild, crazy shit. And it latches on to ideology. And it is 100% just superego, superego, superego. And that's why yeah.
Isn't there something nihilistic about it too? Because it's like, if your life is shitty, it's fine. Like, it doesn't matter. Or like, however your life is, your life could be great, but no matter what, it doesn't matter because there's an infinite number of possible selves and you're just one of them. There's something incredibly like nihilistic about it too.
It's like when we were reading Alenka's disavowal, and she's talking about doppelgangers. Like, it's the same kind of thing where, oh, your life can be shit. Your life can suck. You can suck ass, but there's a real version of you out there. And the real version of you out there, he doesn't have lack. That real guy is perfect and has everything he wants and this and that. So yeah, it is this very nihilistic ideological thing of disavowal. So it's fucked up.
So, okay, hold on. I want to go into this because
I love that doppelganger bit because, like,
no, it's
sorry, that lag.
Yeah, the lag. I want to go into the stuff that Bataille says about the order of things. This gets interesting.
Yep.
Yeah, let's press on.
This should not be considered narrowly. There is no perfect operation, and neither the slave nor the master is entirely reduced to the order of things. The slave is a thing for the owner. He accepts this situation, which he prefers to dying. He effectively loses part of his intimate value for himself, for it is not enough to be this or that. One also has to be for others. Similarly, for the slave, the owner has ceased to be his fellow man. He is profoundly separated from him, even if his equals continue to see him as a man. Even if he is still a man for others, he is now in a world where a man can be merely a thing. The same poverty then extends over human life as extends over the countryside if the weather is overcast. Overcast weather, when the sun is filtered by the clouds and the play of light goes dim, appears to reduce things to what they are. The error is obvious. What is before me is never anything less than the universe. The universe is not a thing, and I am not at all mistaken when I see its brilliance in the sun. But if the sun is hidden, I more clearly see the barn, the field, the hedgerow. I no longer see the splendor of the light that played over the barn. Rather, I see this barn or this hedgerow like a screen between the universe and me. In the same way, slavery brings into the world the absence of light that is the separate positing of each thing, reduced to the use that it has. Light, or brilliance, manifests the intimacy of life, that which life deeply is, which is perceived by the subject as being true to itself and as the transparency of the universe.
I feel like in that last paragraph, there's a Levinasian trace there.
Yeah. I mean, I think this is extremely phenomenological, like appearances coming to replace essence. And now we can reject essence, but using this kind of language, the appearance eradicates the thing for itself.
Well, yeah, it's the order of things. It's almost a critique of the Kantian mental apparatus, the cognitive apparatus, the transcendental faculty that orders the manifold, orders raw given sense data into things.
Yeah.
Right. And Bataille's point, he doesn't say it, but like what's real is energy. What's real? This is this substrate, whether we want to call it matter, or whether we want to call it energy or energetic matter or whatever, libido, will to power, the will. It doesn't matter. Like he's saying, this is what is real. And if you think you're reducing the things that come forth from this to their thingifiedness, you're wrong. Yes, we can view things this way, but trying to impose this order is the problem. And you're always it's always going to involve a distortion, an optical illusion, so to speak,
or a totalization.
We're not really tapped into things. And now here, like de-thingified things.
Yeah.
Right. Energy, accursed share. And he thinks that there's almost an equality here, right? I think you get this in the Heart Sutra as well, where it's like you realize you pan out and you get like, oh, everything is everything.
Yeah.
But it sounds sappy and corny, but
well, that's the general view. The general view, like when you truly take the general view, you do zoom out and you do see everything is everything in this weird way. And it's utility or necessity that forces us to totalize things, to take the appearance of all things, to take the appearance of these discrete bits of the splendor of the universe. We take it as it appears to us and we reduce it down to the thingliness of it. So that, there is this moment of like, there's an infinite universe, but we totalize things and reduce things based on their appearance. And it's all kind of ordered by utility or necessity. And it's only when we as living creatures who are part of the metabolic system, but who also, I think, the point of subjectivity is that we have our own will. And this is not to get into conversations about determinism or free will. I'm a compatibilist. I don't care. I don't want to have the conversation about hard determinism or hard free will. But I do want to say that, I do want to say that if we can talk about the will and the representation, or the will and the idea of things, then I think it's also fair to say that the subject has a will, and it's our sovereignty to decide what to do with these things that have been reduced down and ordered by necessity. Unless you want to, do the Swami thing and sit on a rock and just meditate and atrophy to death. But there absolutely is this thing where we are phenomenologically presented with things and we confuse their appearance and we order them based on utility or necessity. And I think that's what Bataille's demonstrating, is like, hey.
And what else he's saying, slavery isn't just this immoral thing. It's a metaphysical category mistake.
Yeah.
And, look, I like this, like what he's talking about with the overcast skies. Now, first off, I mean, there's no better weather in my opinion than that, but that's just me. I like the analogy though. And it's similar to how Heidegger describes inframing as the darkening of the world.
Yep.
And so whether we're talking about utility or whether we're talking about inframing or instrumentality, more or less all the same thing. And yeah, when you view the world only in these terms, it does darken the world. And that's where we find ourselves living in the shadow of Robo Cthulhu.
Well, in our conversation with Nick on Bataille,
I think that.
Oh, go ahead, Sean.
Oh, I was going to say that I think you can put it like if you don't give the thing in itself its dignity, then eventually it will rebel. And I think we're seeing that in the dignity of recognizing it as a thing in itself, in the sense that it's its own thing. You can't actually, without destroying it, completely possess it.
Yeah.
You know, you can't actually wrap around it. And so it's like, if you don't give those, and isn't that what we're seeing with the way that the environment is fucking biting us back at this point? Because we don't respect the planet. We don't respect what gives us life, you know?
Yeah.
And it's rebelling in a sense. And I don't mean to anthropomorphize nature when I say that, it's not Mother Earth, it's not Mother Nature, because it'd be a bitch of a mother, as Zizek says. But nonetheless, there's a sense in which that the things will bite back. You know, there's a sense in which you cannot totalize them or they will come for you.
Yeah. Or betray you. Numino? Yeah. The Numenon will betray you.
There you go.
Or it's the return of the repressed. Like we're repressing all these qualities and features and characteristics, and they return. And when they do, they return with a vengeance. But yeah, I do like talking about how things
you can't do it to yourself.
Yeah. I do like talking about how these things will rebel. I also think in our conversation with Nick, when we talked about Bataille a little bit, his point was the energy, these energetics, that's the true state of things. Never mind even that matter has these qualities and characteristics that it self-organizes into these complexifying forms that are entropy resistant or negentropic, as he would say. What's really going on at the heart of it all is these channels and flows of energy. And of course, talking about Deleuze, folds and flows and stuff, but that is at the core of it. The noumenal nature of all things is this energetic, the energy of it all, this kind of splendor, the infinite energy flowing all around us. And when we totalize all these things, like you said, they rebel. You try to grasp them and you grasp ever harder and they slip through your grip, and eventually you have a planetary rebellion on your hands.
But Heidegger also was aware of this when he would talk about every unconcealment carries a concealment.
Yeah.
There's always a surplus of what's concealed about the thing unconcealed. And yeah. Okay, hold on. The next paragraph, one of my favorite in the book. So.
All right. But the reduction of that which is to the order of things is not limited to slavery. Slavery is abolished, but we ourselves are aware of the aspects of social life in which man is relegated to the level of things. And we should know that this relegation did not await slavery. From the start, the introduction of labor into the world replaced intimacy, the depth of desire, and its free outbreaks with rational progression, where what matters is no longer the truth of the present moment, but rather the subsequent results of operations. The first labor established the world of things, to which the profane world of the ancients generally corresponds. Once the world of things was posited, man himself became one of the things of this world, at least for the time in which he labored. it is this degradation that man has always tried to escape. In his strange myths, in his cruel rites, man is in search of a lost intimacy from the first.
Now, I love the point about how labor is this oppressive thing that humans have been struggling against for so long. Now, do I think we had this intimacy that he talks about? No, I think it's a retroactive fantasy.
Yeah.
I don't think there's, and I think he does think there was something like that. I don't. But that doesn't change the fact that he's right about labor. And his point is, labor is a kind of slavery. It's not, doesn't have to be literal slavery, but it is certainly a degradation, and it is a reduction of that which is to being a thing.
Yeah.
And necessary labor thingifies the laborer. And this is God's curse, right? God's curse for us wanting to be subjects. That to me is the ultimate thing to overcome. I mean, there's other things, but for me, that's kind of can we overcome the curse of labor, necessary labor, not just wage labor, but labor as such. And I think he's right. I think look, it's also about proportionality, I guess. Like if somebody's like, oh, you have to go labor 15 days, so what? Get over it. Even I would say that. Right. Yeah. But the vast majority of humans' existence is spent doing shit they do not want to do, that reifies them, that alienates them. And I'll defend alienation. I wish I had different words for these.
Yeah.
It alienates us from our alienation.
That's it. It alienates us from our own alienation. Yeah.
Yes. So that would be, I like what he said here. I don't think the intimacy thing, we lost some. No, it's always a retroactive fantasy for me. But yeah, I like what he gets at here.
I'll defend the intimacy thing to a certain extent, because like you could posit that as a fantasy that can absolutely operate as a fantasy for sure. But in the world prior to settled agriculture, I think which demanded so much labor, I think that there is really, never mind the advent of like industrial production, but like there really is a sense in which there's a much greater intimacy with the world in that world. And it might be a brutal intimacy at sometimes. It's not all sunshine and rainbows, but there is some sense in which that intimacy is real, I think.
Yeah, this is James Cameron Avatar.
I mean, I'm thinking of Levi Brule.
No, it's not. You don't even have to go to blue people. It's just like there's a real sense in which like people like really had a much deeper connection to the world around them, there's a like, this is why I'm saying it's not only fantasy. Like there is a sense in which that this is real. Like people do have like a ritualistic connection to the world around them in a deep way that does respect things as though they have a deeper reality to them that we cannot master, that we cannot appropriate or use.
I think it's just the opposite. I think people back then were all too familiar with the alien dimension of the elements in a way that we don't have to nowadays. And they knew that nature is not their friend.
That's exactly what I mean.
Yeah, but the point is, it's this fundamental antagonism. It's not intimacy with nature. Yeah, I mean, it's intimacy with the fact that nature gives zero fucks about you. And so,
yeah, that's part of it. Yeah, it's both.
Yeah, but I don't know if the intimacy thing implies a kind of harmonious being. And that's precisely what I don't think. Again, it's humanity's relation to the planet as opposed to the infant's relationship to the mother. There was no perfect relationship with the mother. It was always a fragmented, problematized relationship. It's just retroactively, it's I lost something. Well, we can do that same thing with the planet, but ultimately, the human beings who had no infrastructure, who had, they were utterly vulnerable to the whims of nature in a way that we can't understand personally. So, yeah, if there's intimacy back there, it's the intimacy of the cold, cruel indifference of nature. So fine if that's what we're talking about, but it's certainly not some warm and cozy, harmonious relationship between human and nature.
Well, and I don't read intimacy that way. That's just not what that word means to me. Harmonious and intimate. Those aren't the same thing at all. I understand how it could read that way, but when I read it, that's not what I read. To me, intimacy is like a knowledge. That's really all it is. Is like a deep and close knowledge, and that can be a deep and close knowledge of something that has good and evil to it. Like I think if you're intimate truly with even a loved one, then very well their dark side. Very well with their flaws and their damage. You know what I mean? I think that's part of intimacy.
I mean, I think
this is where I wish I knew the French word that he was using and what it typically means.
Yeah. I think, it sounds like participation. It sounds like, enchantment. Like when we talk about disenchantment, we talk about modernity. There's also this quality of the world of enchantment, right? Like there had to be something in order for it to be and people like romanticize that and I don't know, paint it with rose colored lenses. I almost said rose colored boy. But people look back on this thing phantasmatically. And it's really, it's just like when we talk about the people who want to return to pre-modernity, like have fun hunting an elk with your bare hands or with a fucking bow and arrow or a knife made out of bone and rocks. Like have fun with that.
I recently just rewatched The Revenant. Yeah, no thanks.
Yeah. I'll stay here. I got my air conditioning. I got my computer. I got my TV. Like I'll stay here in modernity. But I also feel like I think it's definitely phantasmatic. However, it's also definitely real at the same time. And I also think it doesn't matter. Like I think we can take this understanding of the Accursed Share and this general view, and like we can take what we gain from Bataille, and we're not going to return to a more intimate world or a more enchanted world or a world in which we're at harmony and we participate with nature rather than struggling against nature. We don't want any of that shit, dude. I want to take modernity and turn it up to 11. I'm pissed off because capitalism has got in its own way and prevented us from actually culminating the promise of modernity, which was individualism and emancipation and rights and all this shit. Like, and that's another reason why I'm like, I don't know. I would tell people don't read Bataille, read secondary literature or listen to us talk about Bataille for 3 hours like,
yeah. So that's great. I think I think modernity turned up to 11 would become an enchanted world. I think the problem is people pursue this enchantment. And if you pursue the enchantment directly, it's absolutely going to be a fantasy, whether it's a fantasy of the future or the past. Like if what you're after is enchantment, like Like, obviously that's going to be a fantasy because you're pursuing this image of enchantment that you have. It's not real.
Yeah.
It's this fantasy that you're excited about. Like, it's not like a real world. And like enchantment, I think if the world is enchanted, it's like the world, you actually experience it as enchantment in your day-to-day life, as enchanted in your day-to-day life in some sense.
Yeah.
And it's not going to be in the future, if we live in a better world, it's not going to be the same type of enchantment. Let's fucking hope it's not the same type of enchantment that the ancients had, you know, because we don't want to bring back human fucking ritual sacrifice and this sort of thing. And we also don't want to bring back fighting tooth and nail, red in tooth and claw against nature.
Yeah.
But that said, there is a sense in which that world, which was red in tooth and claw against nature, was also enchanted in a way that we have lost, you know? So it's like there is a real lost, but there is also this operation, this thing operating as fantasy at the same time. Like both two things can be true is what I'm saying.
I want to this analogy of the cloying mother or the overbearing mother, nature being the overbearing mother. I like that a lot. I wonder where Lamella fits in. Like, if
Lamella breaks with nature, that's oddly enough, right? Like, the way Lacan describes it is as this flat pancake-like surface. You think of like a fucking oozing pancake sliding around, moving around with the kind of, I don't know, you want to call it desire or drive of a xenomorph. And the point is, our life drive is not one of nature. It's this immortal drive to enjoy repetitiously forever. And oddly enough, I mean, drive is the site of eternality or immortality or undeadness, however you want to talk about it, in us. And so it's life over and above life. It's excess life. And that's why bare life is not enough for us. You only feel alive if you have excess life.
Yeah.
Which is to say you have surplus, you have excess, you can waste, you have, you know, the ability to consume, right? And so, yeah, Lamilla is life beyond life.
Yeah.
For Lacan. Substance of death drive. Well, I know, and it's weird. I just called it the life beyond life, right?
The substance of
I
death
associate it
drive.
with death drive.
Yeah.
But that's the point, is that death drive is not about literal annihilation. It's about this repetitious, insistent impulse that seeks what it seeks no matter what the cost. And that you don't really see animals do that. Animals strike up a homeostatic relationship with their environment. You don't see animals, they fight because if they feel threatened or, you know, whatever, but they don't just engage in some repetitious activity for the sake of its own self-destructive enjoyment. That's a human thing. And that's what defines our life, our type of life.
And that's it. That is this moment of radical freedom where we are in tension with ourselves. Like, we're not harmonious. We're not the flat fucking pancake who's undifferentiated, totally horizontal. Like we are, if the universe has a will, then we have a will that's separate from the universe. We've broken off. We become fractal splinters of the universal will. And like that's the challenge. That's what Bataille gives us. That's what Lacan gives us. That's the thing. We're these fucking fractal phalanges of the universal will, and we can act for our own selves, for our own sake, because we have the ability to work against our own selves and against our own sake. Like, it is death drive. That's the radical break. And then we kind of come to embody our own surplus life, which is why waste? Like choosing how and when and why to waste is the most free you can be. So push back on the optimization and the efficiency and the self-maxing and be a useless from the perspective of capital or from the perspective of those who would inframe you. Be useless.
What did that one guy say? I forgot his name. Self-improvement is masturbation of self-destruction.
All right.
Hell yeah.
All right, let's look. Okay, then he goes into religion here.
Yeah.
And I think that's,
Religion is this long effort and this anguished quest. It is always a matter of detaching from the real order, from the poverty of things, and of restoring the divine order. The animal or plant that man uses as if they only had value for him and none for themselves is restored to the truth of the intimate world. He receives a sacred communication from it, which restores him in turn to interior freedom. The meaning of this profound freedom is given in destruction, whose essence is to consume profitlessly whatever might remain in the progression of useful works. Sacrifice destroys that which it consecrates. It does not have to destroy as fire does. Only the tie that connected the offering to the world of profitable activity is severed. But this separation has the sense of a definitive consumption. The consecrated offering cannot be restored to the real order. This principle opens the way to passionate release. It liberates violence while marking off the domain in which violence reigns absolutely. The world of intimacy is as antithetical to the real world as immoderation is to moderation, madness to reason, drunkenness to lucidity. There is moderation only in the object, reason only in the identity of the object with itself, lucidity only in the distinct knowledge of objects. The world of the subject is the night, that changeable, infinitely suspect night, which, in the sleep of reason, produces monsters. I submit that madness itself gives a rarefied idea of the free subject, unsubordinated to the real order and occupied only with the present. The subject leaves its own domain and subordinates itself to the objects of the real order as soon as it becomes concerned for the future. For the subject is consumption insofar as it is not tied down to work. If I am no longer concerned about what will be, but about what is, what reason do I have to keep anything in reserve? I can at once, in disorder, make an instantaneous consumption of all that I possess. The useless consumption is what suits me once my concern for the morrow is removed. And if I thus consume immoderately, I reveal to my fellow beings that which I am intimately. Consumption is the way in which separate beings communicate. Everything shows through. Everything is open and infinite between those who consume intensely. But nothing counts then. Violence is released, and it breaks forth without limits as the heat increases.
Lots of
yeah, dude.
There's lots there.
I love the line that the world that I wrote it down wrong. The world of the subject is the world of the night. It's the world of the subject is the night.
Yeah.
Does that not bring to mind Hegel's Night of the World, right? Yeah. Which Slavoj always goes out of his way to connect to madness. There's something very Hegelian, oddly enough, about this stretch of the text. And madness. Okay. So self-destruction, enjoyment and self-destruction, easily definable as madness, especially to the mindset of efficiency and utility, etc. So if the subject is connected to the drive, which that's what Lacan argues, then of course you're going to come to identify subjectivity with a kind of madness. And that's precisely why we're free. And this madness, it's an ontological madness in relation to all other things in the universe. We're not talking about clinical insanity. Okay? We're talking about this weird thing that happens with human beings when we emerge into our unique type of ontology, our unique ontological constitution. We are not that the individual is literally insane. It's that we ourselves are the madness of the universe.
Yeah.
We're the point at which the universe glitches out, and that's precisely why we can be free.
Yeah.
We are not beings that are completely locked into the determining laws of nature. This is why, yes, natural causality certainly impacts us. It does, but we're also this weird thing that's not completely reducible to that chain of causality. And sure, it becomes metaphysically difficult to, delimit all this. But I think Bataille is right in how he's describing what happens with us. And I mean, going back to the word intimate, it's almost like we could swap it out for sublime. It's again, I wish I knew the French term, but yeah, I just think that is, nobody thinks of him as a philosopher of subjectivity, and fair enough. But here, what he says about the subject, I very much like.
No, I think I will be that guy who, the one guy alone who says no, Bataille is talking about subjectivity. And it's that death is life, or sacrifice, or the madness, the incongruity of us, of whatever the hell we are. That is what we are. That is what sets us up to be able to be subjects. But yeah, I don't know. I think I think most people don't see that here. But we are the madness. We are go ahead.
So I think that like a Deleuzian might like this section. And so like where's the rub, I guess, is like, because the subject is only real when the subject is not constrained by the reality principle, is sort of what he's talking about, which is very much like, I feel like this would make a Deleuzian happy, is what I'm saying. But I feel like
they wouldn't like it. I can already hear what Nick would say in his Deleuzian mode, which is it's the subject is being referred to as a unity.
Yeah.
Not a multiplicity.
God, that's so fucking annoying.
Well, but that's...
I'm not talking shit about Nick necessarily. It's just in general. I'm just like...
necessarily.
And second...
Yeah, but the position enunciating that is a unified subject who cannot help but posit itself as unified. So when people go that far down that thing where they're like, the subject doesn't exist, I'm like, okay, then who's talking to me? Like, who is positing that the subject doesn't exist? It's a subject doing it.
I was literally an epiphenomenon.
A meta system. I mean, this is also with...
Then that's what we are. And that's what we are. Then that's what we are, and that's a real thing.
That's what the subject is. The subject is
epiphenomenons are things. Then
And well, that's the thing. That's the point. When we say the subject, we mean this thing that is not identical with itself. Like that's another way to say this. Like this thing is not unified. This thing is not harmonious. It's not a unity. But it is the subject.
You wouldn't accept it being like, oh, the split between conscious and unconscious.
Right.
Like that's not enough of a multiple. That's too dyadic, which is too close to a. It's like, okay, the subject is a Mobius strip. Well, the problem is the Mobius strip is too much of a unity. Like he wants, you know, and so do they. I mean, they want this. No, I mean, look, for real. They think D&G think that what we call the subject, what we, the three of us, would call the subject, is an epiphenomenal byproduct of all kinds of machinic flows, all kinds of microprocesses, and they talk about what you and I, what we call the subject. They call that the third synthesis, right? Which, oh, that's me. Like all of this multiple flows and processes, all of this is going on, and that at some point it's able to kind of, after all this is going on, it has a synthetic moment where it goes, oh, that's me. No, it's not you, because it's like that's me wants to take credit for all of these dimensions, the flow of blood. Well, I'm whatever cognitive ability. I'm not responsible for the flow of blood in my body, right? Like, and so I get it. They want to emphasize the parts, and they think that the unity of the parts is an epiphenomenal kind of illusion. They're not denying it happens. They're just saying it's not the foundation here. It's not the parts make up the whole, and the whole wants to take credit for everything the parts have done. No. And so if you want to do a physical, you know, a physicalistic materialist type of thing, it's like, no, your brain is primary. Fuck your sense of subject. Again, I'll argue against all this.
Yeah.
And I have ways of, you know, trying to incorporate the brain. But the point is, the subject for them is just too much of a unity, and it gives it too much transcendental causality. It's the unifier of experience.
And that's all well and good. Like I don't even disagree with that. It's like that's true basically, but it's like, but the problem is then people want to make it politically relevant, whether you're a Landian or a left Delusian. People want to make this insight that like we are like a mosaic fucking pastiche that exists as a totality. They want to make it into, oh, the second you name it and you make it a thing, then you're a fascist. Yeah. Or on the other hand, they want to make it like, oh, you're just not relevant. Like it's just what you want and desire as a,
that's one of the paralogisms,
is not relevant at all.
D&G think it's a paralogism. It's a mistake in reasoning to relate to the other as a whole person instead of parts, machinic.
That's insane. That's so fucking nuts.
And I'm sorry.
Crazy.
And I'm totally against it. My thing is, I'm an emergentist. I think all of this stuff has to be in place. Of course, you don't have subjectivity in the human if we don't have blood pumping through our veins. I know all that, of course. And of course, we require a brain. Once subjectivity has emerged, again, this is my emergentism. Once it has emerged, it retroactively becomes primary. Yep. But that doesn't deny the material foundation of it. The thing is, for them, all that counts, they talk about modes or processes of subjectivization, which is to say you take matter and you put it through different organizing principles, linguistic regimes, etc., and it produces the effect of a subject. There's no real subject there. I disagree. I believe in the actual real ontological reality of the subject. Yep. It's just an emergent entity, but isn't everything?
Yeah. Well, and I would almost agree with them that it's not real in the sense that like that nothing's real. Like, why are we privileging the other things that we're talking about to the subject? Like that's still like subjectivity has an effect in the world. demonstrably look around you. It's changing the entire world that we are subjects. So fuck off if you're saying it's not a thing. How can it be? It exists if it's affecting things.
Here's
and it is affecting things.
For
so it's
D&G
like, what
in
are
particular,
you like?
negativity isn't real.
That's
negativity itself isn't real.
Yeah.
And so if the
I'm not even
subject's
talking
defined
about
in terms of negativity,
yet.
think about it. What did he just say?
Yeah.
What you love. The world of the subject is the night.
Yeah. Well, and that's why,
right.
That's why it's politically, it's a thing for them, because this negative subject becomes a problem on this positivistic worldview. Like on this worldview where we're all just, meta systems, and we're all, fingers and belly buttons, and we can poke each other and everything's fine, blah, blah, like this fully positivistic world. The negative subject becomes problematic because we do have a freedom, and we do have meaning and life and this interiority and this whole dimension outside of utility. And so this problem that Bataille is talking about, utility or essence and appearance, or utility and sovereignty, or whatever, the real world and the world of things, the ordered world that is things, like this is a problem. This is a thing that must be dealt with. But you can sidestep it by just saying, oh, there's no such thing as negativity, and there's no such thing as subjectivity. There is no such thing as this kind of unity. We're all just meta systems, and we can all, like, it's not a problem in that world. That's why politically, that's why it becomes a political project. It's a way to sidestep the problem of negativity and subjectivity.
The great irony here is that the philosopher of difference came to be a philosopher of identity politics, or used in identity politics.
Yeah, that's
and
crazy.
He wouldn't like
which to them is fascist. Yeah, that's fascist to them.
Well, yeah, like, identity is fascist.
Yeah, that's what Deleuze and Guattari would say. And we agree. Like, right?
But if you see how many online Deleuzians, like they're completely oriented around identity.
Yep.
Right. And they don't like this universalism of the negative subject.
You know what it reminds me of? That stupid fucking movie that won 13 Oscars.
We get back to this. Although you guys weren't audience, you weren't listening to, but we began the conversation by ranting about one.
We'll save that for another
another
episode, I think.
Yeah. You could go ahead and cancel. You can cancel me at least. I don't know. I won't speak for everyone else, but you can cancel me because I fucking hate that movie, and I didn't watch it.
I don't like it either.
I didn't even watch it. I watched part of it. I'm gonna watch it. We're gonna do an episode about it soon. But go ahead and cancel me.
I watched it 1.5 times. Okay, should we finish this out before?
Let's do it,
because I'm running out of time.
Yeah, I gotta eat me some burritos. Yep. What ensures the return of the thing to the intimate order is its entry into the hearth of consumption, where the violence no doubt is limited, but never without great difficulty. It is always the purpose of sacrifice to give destruction its due, to save the rest from a mortal danger of contagion. All those who have to do with sacrifice are in danger, but its limited ritual form regularly has the effect of protecting those who offer it. Sacrifice is heat, in which the intimacy of those who make up the system of common works is rediscovered. Violence is its principle, but the works limited in time and space. It is subordinated to the concern for uniting and preserving the commonality. The individuals break loose, but a breaking loose that melts them and blends them indiscriminately with their fellow beings helps to connect them together in the operations of secular time. It is not yet a matter of enterprise, which absorbs the excess forces with a view to the unlimited development of wealth. The works in question only aim at continuance They only predetermine the limits of the festival, whose renewal is ensured by their fecundity, which has its source in the festival itself. But the community is saved from ruination. The victim is given over to violence.
Okay, so I mean,
this is where
what I like there
this
is
he
okay.
sounds exactly like Gerard.
So production serves to separate us, but consumption unites us, right? Why? Well, I mean, you don't have to go to these, these extreme Bataillean examples. Sorry, when you're at work, even if your coworkers, even if you kind of like them, there's a separation.
Yep.
There's a fucking antagonism with your coworkers. You're not united with them the way you are after work.
Yep.
With your buddies at the bowling alley, having beers and, over the line.
Yeah.
Okay. It just, it's a difference in, he refers to heat. I like the idea of like atmosphere. Like you have an atmosphere that allows you to lose yourself in the activity, and you have an atmosphere that is constantly making the activity ready to hand or unready to hand, noticeable. Yep. And I mean, it's Heideggerian. It's like,
yep.
That's why I bring the term, right? So consumption, things withdraw. You're just engaged in the activity. There isn't a strong sense of separation between you and others and the environment. You are lost in it. That's when we say time flies, when you're having fun, right? Whereas at work, things drag on. Everything, you're always aware of each thing. That fucking coworker said that pisses me off. Like, it's a hyper sense of constant breakdown because you're noticing everything because everything fucking annoys you because you don't want to fucking be there.
Yep.
Total opposite when you're consuming at the bowling alley or the mall or wherever.
Or the dinner table. The world the world of production.
Back porch.
Yeah. The world of production is governed by scarcity and utility. Resources are scarce. That is why you are engaged in production. The world of consumption is dominated by abundance. So when you are working, you're stuck in scarcity mode. You're stuck in competition mode. You're competing. So you're separated, you're alienated, you're atomized, you become molecular. But when you're consuming, it's because you have something to consume. You're no longer struggling to find or locate or create the resource. You have the resource ready to hand, and it's here, and you're just consuming it, and you're just bringing it down and down and down. And so you become an undifferentiated mass of consumers together. So it is scarcity versus abundance, even though it's local, like it's local scarcity and local abundance. It's still, the poles that you're moving between: scarcity, abundance, production, consumption.
Wouldn't it be a nice trick of the system if it figured out how to implode the distinction and make us all prosumers, where you can't decide if you're a producer or a consumer, that you're doing both at the same time, and it's all fucking blurred together in third order simulation?
And then on top of that, there's this divine commandment from somewhere. It doesn't matter where it's coming from, to enjoy it all. And guess what? You don't have to choose. You can have it all. You can have the diet caffeine-free Coca-Cola. You can have the skinny pill where you can eat and eat and eat and eat and eat and never gain a pound. You can have everything to your heart's desire, and you no longer have to choose, am I a producer or am I a consumer? You can be everything. You can have it all.
Everything, everywhere, all at once.
Yeah, man. I need to rewatch that movie.
So says the superego.
So on a completely different note, this is the one sentence that is a perfect summary of René Girard's entire theory.
Yeah.
It is always the purpose of sacrifice to give destruction its due, to save the rest from a mortal danger of contagion. That's Rene Girard.
Yeah.
And it's crazy to me that Rene Girard he does cite the Accursed Share, but never gives its credit for like that getting the center of his like entire theory from it.
Yeah.
So it's like we know he read him, but also that sums up his entire theory, that one sentence. So it's just crazy that it's like you read him, but you also like somehow just the fact that he sums up your whole theory is incidental to okay.
I mean, I think
just a little note.
I think
there's a little bit of that. That's kind of the relationship with Lacan and Sartre. Now, obviously, Lacan is different than Sartre. But if you actually read Being and Nothingness with a Lacanian eye, you sit there going, a lot of this is where Lacan got this shit.
Yeah.
And he never gave him credit for it.
I think, Sartre and Lacan, Sartre was he was like, yeah, man, fuck the unconscious.
Lacan is Freud plus Sartre.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. But with Girard, I think Girard is a thinker of limits. Girard is a thinker of enforcing limits and upholding limits, whereas Bataille is the thinker of limits are impossible. Well, and I think, Bataille, people receive him as this guy who's all about transgression and all about being edgy and maybe sure, but also like from what I get from Bataille is that it's just impossible to enforce limits. So on one hand, you have Bataille, and he's showing us how limits are impossible to maintain. And Girard is over here very much trying to do the exact opposite of what Bataille is showing. I think I'm not an expert on Girard. I haven't read a lot of them. So
no, there's something to that for sure. And I think what Nick said about, I just rewatched 8.5, which is one of my favorite movies of all time. It's also the only good movie about making a movie that has ever been made. It's amazing. But like in that movie, one of the themes in it is like the relationship of the main character to the Catholic Church. And it's a really good way to get inside the head of like someone coming from a Catholic country in transgression, Yeah. Because like, I feel like there gets to be this acceptance of like the fact that the Catholic Church will always be there in Italy, in a country like Italy. It's always going to be there. And there will always be this transgression against it. Like you get to this point of like an acceptance of that. Like, because we're never going to have a Protestant Reformation in fucking Italy or Spain. Yeah. Like it's not going to happen. It's just like, this is the way it is. And so, whereas from the Protestant world, you're like, in the post-Reformation world, you're like, no, fuck you for telling me no. Like, not only do I want to transgress anyone who tells me no, I want to overthrow and delete and erase anyone who tells me no. It's just, it's a different way of relating to like authority and to a big other,
Yeah.
And so, yeah, go ahead, Nat. Go ahead. No, go ahead.
I was going to say, look, this whole thing with the eroticism of transgression, I think there's a good point to be made there in relation to Catholicism. I think you can expand it beyond Catholicism, but I think Catholicism's the locus of it. And here's why. I was raised a Baptist, and there's something very different between the Catholics and the Baptists in this regard. The Baptists believe in eternal security. Once you're saved, done deal. Have you ever thought of the doctrine of eternal security as a type of way to de-eroticize transgression?
That's dope, dude. That's dope.
it's a mind fuck. Like,
I love that.
If I can't lose God's going to be like disappointed and I can be out of fellowship with God, but I'm not going to go to hell. It de-eroticizes transgression. And I think that's why transgression for me never seemed all that, like, okay, I mean, I can do that, I guess. And I'll have to tell God I'm sorry or whatever, but it doesn't have the erotic charge because it doesn't have the risk factor that it does for the Catholics and for the other Protestants that don't believe in eternal security.
That's dope. I love that.
Yeah, because you do have to that's great.
That's what Bible study.
You do have to continually. That's why you have to continually. And that's why you have to continually confess your sins if you're Catholic, right? You have to do this constant maintenance on the status of your soul and your salvation.
Well, God remains this enigmatic. You're like, am I really saved? Am I okay? No, with the Baptists, it's like, oh no, I did the thing. I confess that Christ is my Lord and Savior. I asked him into my heart, and now and forever, I'm saved. Into discussion, and no matter how I mess up, I don't have to worry about it. Yeah, it de-eroticizes transgression because it's not. I mean, yeah, again, it puts you out of fellowship with God, but that's cured with one prayer.
Right.
And you're not going to go to hell for it, even if you don't pray about it. So,
do they have purgatory?
I gotta side with
not actually be
like if we're on this one.
Transgress.
Do they have purgatory in Baptist?
No.
Oh,
nope.
Huh.
And you don't find purgatory anywhere in the Bible. Like, okay, there's Abraham's bosom, which is this kind of like holding cell it's by hell, but it's not in hell. And it's where the Old Testament saints, anybody who actually like God put them in a holding cell. Like, hey, until Christ comes, you're not really redeemed, but like you're also good. And so you don't have to worry. But when Christ goes and gets them. And he brings the Old Testament saints, Moses and all them. They get to go to heaven once he makes his blood atonement.
Man, the Bible, crazy science fiction story, dude.
We're not going to go into it. We'll keep it a mystery, but I told Nance this idea that I've had for 3 years about doing something, and
it's going to
really like it. So
it's going to be amazing. It's going to be fucking amazing. Let's finish this guy out.
Okay, let's do this.
The victim, sacred and cursed. The victim is a surplus taken from the mass of useful wealth, and he can only be withdrawn from it in order to be consumed profitlessly and therefore utterly destroyed. Once chosen, he is the accursed share, destined for violent consumption. But the curse tears him away from the order of things. It gives him a recognizable figure which now radiates intimacy, anguish, the profundity of living beings. Nothing is more striking than the attention that is lavished on him. Being a thing, he cannot truly be withdrawn from the real order which binds him unless destruction rids him of his thinghood, eliminating his usefulness once and for all. As soon as he is consecrated, and during the time between the consecration and death, he enters into the closeness of the sacrificers and participates in their consumptions. He is one of their own, and in the festival in which he will perish, he sings, dances, and enjoys all the pleasures with them. There is no more servility in him. He can even receive arms and fight. He is lost in the immense confusion of the festival, and that is precisely his undoing. The victim will be the only one, in fact, to leave the real order entirely, for he alone is carried along to the end by the movement of the festival. The sacrificer is divine only with reservations. The future is heavily reserved in him. The future is the weight that he bears as a thing. The official theologians, whose traditions Sahagun collected, were well aware of this, for they placed the voluntary sacrifice of Nanuatsin above the others, praised warriors for being consumed by the gods, and gave divinity the meaning of consumption. We cannot know to what extent the victims of Mexico accepted their fate. It may be that in a sense certain of them considered it an honor to be offered to the gods. But their immolation was not voluntary. Moreover, it is clear that from the time of Sahagun's informants, these death orgies were tolerated because they impressed foreigners. The Mexicans immolated children that were chosen from among their own, but severe penalties had to be decreed against those who walked away from their procession when they went up to the altars. Sacrifice comprises a mixture of anguish and frenzy. The frenzy is more powerful than the anguish, but only providing its effects are diverted to the exterior onto a foreign prisoner. It suffices for the sacrificer to give up the wealth that the victim could have been for him. This understandable lack of rigor does not, however, change the meaning of the ritual. The only valid excess was one that went beyond the bounds, and one whose consumption appeared worthy of the gods. This was the price men paid to escape their downfall and remove the weight introduced in them by the avarice and cold calculation of the real order. Bum, 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 bum.
You know what's interesting, right? So this function, okay, so the victim is the embodiment of the accursed share. And, you know, here's the question, though, right? We say there's excess energy. Like, this, I guess, what do I want to say? Why exactly? Like, I know this is what he's saying, but why? Why do they have to sacrifice? What exactly is this? What would, here's the thing. In Aztec society, what would happen that would lead to the collapse of this society if they didn't engage in this form of ritualistic sacrifice? How would it destroy?
So I think that this is where it's Gerardian, is that I think that the idea is that the violence that is successfully directed X to X outside of the society would become directed against each other internally in the society. This is precisely what Gerard is so worried about, is that he wants the sacrifice is a way to put that the sacrifice taken from outside of society, right, on a raiding expedition for the purpose of getting victims, so that we can take all of the violence and all of the rage we feel, and direct it on this sacrificial victim.
Basically, how America had much more internal unity when we had the Soviet Union as our big bad.
Yep. This is social cohesion. This is the site. This is the socius in a way. Like this entire ritual process is a part of the body of the sovereign, of the ruler of the civilization, and that's why like they transmute the victim. Like they sacralize him. They sublimate him or them. They turn them into this sublime creature that the sovereign imbues with some of their own essence. So it's like this, it's this social project, this social cohesion. And if they stopped doing that, then there would be this buildup of energy that would have to go somewhere.
So here's a question. With what he just said about the victim, how does that relate to our modern day version or concept of the victim?
Well, I mean, we are victims. We are thingified. We
you know what I mean? The victim. Like, there's a way that the left, the certain liberal left, wants to hold up the victim as this thing that can't be challenged,
as the sacred figure.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the problem that a lot of normies have, and they're not all conservative.
The left still.
No, a problem they have is that people, the idea is that, are people exploiting this?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
And so then the question becomes,
but on the left and the victim, the left believes in.
No, go ahead.
Sorry, it's the fucking lag. It's a pain in the ass. But I was just saying okay, I think the left believes in Jesus. They just don't want to admit it, like, because the victim is so. It is the sacred thing. It's this like sacred, inviolable thing. Is the victim, and that's very Christian.
And isn't the victim? Isn't it just virtually anybody who's on one side of the identity divide, or it has this sacred status?
Yeah.
Just by being born.
Yep.
The left, the performative left, and the right does this too with the beleaguered white man. It's so hard to be a straight white man these days, and you're not allowed to say this or you're not allowed to say that. All this operates on all sides.
I was going to bring that back. I had the switcheroo in mind.
Yeah,
to bring it back.
This is constantly operating, but it's like they do believe that they can sacralize the victim and either be the victim or identify with the victim in the same way that here with the Aztecs, the victim and the king become identical. That's why the sacrifice of the victim works to express the accursed share, because the king and the victim have become identical. So people want to identify with this victim, this sacred figure that's an empty category. It's an empty set that can, be grafted onto any one thing. People want to identify with that and escape the thingness, escape their own thinghood that is happening. Like we are all victims of thingliness, because capital, the world is dominated by utility and necessity and reproduction, and we're feeling it. So we're trying to escape it, but we're making other people sites of the blame. We are doing the scapegoat thing. So
isn't there a counter reification that we see now, which is the counter reification is, I'm going to thingify myself as a victim.
That's it. Like the process of sacralization is a thingification. So yeah, it's like this. It's this weird process of reification, of objectifying. People are either objectifying categories and classes, or
I am as such a victim.
Yeah. So we are objectifying ourselves, but they're not following that logic to its conclusion. The Aztecs followed it to its conclusion, and they said the only way to escape utility is ultimately sacrifice. So we want to have our cake and eat it too here in the postmodern future, where you can be sublimated, you could become the sublime object, but you don't have to then go on to be consumed. We want to escape.
So diet, caffeine-free victimhood.
Yeah, dude. That's it. That's it.
That's good. I like that. I was trying to think of like because I think this is what Nietzsche hates about Christianity, is that it made the victim, it's made it seem cool to be the victim. Like it's good actually to be the victim, and you're not going to be sacrificed. You should actually be sacralized in the sense that you're put on a pedestal. And where we all care about your welfare so much. But I really like that the diet, caffeine free sacrifice. I'm not sure precisely how those two thoughts are connected, but that's cool. Maybe Christianity already did that. I don't know. I'm not sure what I want to say about that, but
Well, and also if the victim, if you look at the Aztecs, right, if the victim is this embodiment of sublimity in liberal democratic societies, doesn't that have to be equally distributed?
I mean,
that's so good.
The thing is, like, the thing that's so
give me my little piece of the victimhood. I gotta be a victim.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm just thinking out loud here.
The thing that's so frustrating about it is that
oh, it's right.
Like, this is going on. We are being objectified, and we are being sacrificed and consumed for the sake of utility. It's all disavowed. That's what's so frustrating about it.
But
and
I'm just going to say it, but are you a victim if a guy cat calls you? Like, no, I'm not saying it's a good thing.
That's the thing. Like, we're concerned with the fact that we're all victims of capital, but all these other people are doing this performative stuff where you said a word that hurt my feelings, so now I'm a victim, and now you're a horrible, terrible person, and you should be canceled and pursued, and I curse you to wander for the rest of your existence. I curse you to an eternal existence of eternally wandering the face of the earth and being tortured and tormented for saying the wrong word, or for maybe being a little too self-centered, or maybe being uneducated,
or overzealous in your flirting.
Right. Like, it's like, come the fuck on, people. Capitalism is eating us all alive. Capitalism, we're all being immolated by capital, by utility, by necessity, by this exchange logic, optimization, efficiency, all that. It's fucking killing us all and eating our souls. But people rather spend their time pointing the finger and blaming the other and scapegoating. It's fucking scapegoating. And it's like, calm down. Just calm down. Just fucking chill. Just chill.
Make a TikTok video ranting for 10 minutes about how some guy cat called you. Do you ever have an issue with the fact that you have to spend the entire majority of your life in wage slavery? That doesn't register with you? No. The cat calling?
And so does he.
Like, and so does he. Yes.
Yeah.
That's the thing. It is
people. Neither of them can afford to pay rent, and they're mad at each other because they're not using the right pronouns.
Yeah. Yeah. But that's the superego. That's the superegoic dimension of it all. So we're living in this inverted, instead of living in a solar anus, we're living in just a giant anus. Like, we're just living in the butthole of the future. And it sucks.
All right. Well, we're not going to get a better quilting point than that.
Yeah. Friends and foes and friendly visitors. We will catch you on the next one. Stay tuned. Check out The Dangerous Maybe on Substack, YouTube, Patreon. Check out Hail the Shining Future on Substack. Stay tuned. We have lots more exciting stuff coming your way. And don't touch that dial. Or actually do. You're not on a TV. You're on your phone probably, or a computer. So swipe away, click the next thing, do whatever. But when you get the notification that one of us put something up, make sure to either check it out or set a reminder to go back and check it out when you have free time. Peace out, internet. I'm going to go eat some enchiladas.
Later.
Okie dokie. Howdy doody, everybody. What's going on? I hope you're enjoying this episode or this video or whatever it is that I'm interrupting. I just had to interrupt real quick just to clue you in on some information. Now, as you can see, it looks hot. I don't know if you can tell, but I'm sweating and I'm hot, and it's really, really hot, and it's still technically winter. But here in Arizona, it gets up in the 90s, and it's actually potentially going to top 100. So it'll actually be in triple digits while we're still in winter. You know, according to the calendar, winter is still going for another, I think, week and a half at time of recording this. And it looks like we are going to hit triple digit temperatures before spring rolls in. And now that's Fahrenheit, of course. The conversion to C, it's a bit tricky. What you do is you cut it in half, and then you take away like 12% or 18% or something. I can't remember. It's been a while. Because C, it's 0C is 32F, and 100C is 212F. So you cut it in half, and then you subtract. Is it 16%? I can't remember. I'll do the conversion, and I'll put it up on the screen, so my civilized audience, so you can get an idea of how hot it is outside. But yes, it is indeed up in the 90s, and it will break triple digit temperatures this winter. So that's awesome. And the cool thing about that is, while that's, you know, what we deal with here in Arizona, I'm pretty confident that that's going to be spreading around to many, many, many cities around the globe here in the near future, in the coming years. So if you want to know what it feels like to be sweating your ass off in winter, sit tight. It'll arrive before you know it. But yeah, look, I'm just sweating. But like I said, I wanted to interrupt, wanted to jump in here real quick and let you know that you can go to www.patreon.com/Nance with 2 E's. That's NANCEE, 2 E's. And that'll take you to the 3 Billion Nances Patreon page, where there is already some bonus stuff up. And there will be more bonus stuff in the future. Some of the stuff that's too hot for TV, some of the stuff that we can't put up publicly, it goes there on the Patreon, and some other stuff as well. There's some other benefits as well. One of the benefits is being able to send messages on the platform. I know sometimes it can be tricky to try to track me down. I'm not really on a bunch of platforms, and I'm also not the most communicative guy in the world in the first place. But that is a benefit of Patreon. And also, if you're just following, if you're a free follower over there, there's still bonus content that's available as well. You don't have to pay. And of course, everything on Substack and YouTube, that is free for the public. But yeah, wanted to clue you in, let you know you can go to patreon.com/NANCEE and check out the 3 Billion Nances bonus content. While you're on Patreon, make sure to head over to The Dangerous Maybe. Check out what is going on over there, the bonus stuff. Also being able to drop a line, ask questions and comments and stuff like that. People can be a bit tricky to get a hold of sometimes, but that is a benefit of being a supporter on Patreon. So check out patreon.com/NANCEE, patreon.com/The Dangerous Maybe. And there's also tons of stuff as well. If you look at my Patreon page, I've recommended a few people who I think you should follow. That'll be continually updated and stuff like that. Definitely want to make sure you get on over to philosophyportal.online. Check out what's going on over there. There's always something exciting and awesome and worthwhile happening at the portal. And yeah, check out all the stuff, do all the things, like, share, subscribe, blah, 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 blah. Do all those things. And yeah, thanks. We'll go ahead and get back to our regularly scheduled programming.